Hey everybody. Okay, so this is Skylar. This is my 1 month post-op video today. Actually right around this time too. So as promised, here is my 1 month post-op video. Okay, so I asked on Instagram for you guys' questions, and I have a list about 20 questions that I'm going to answer. I got my notes here. So before we get to that, I wanted to just show you guys my chest and how it looks, and you know, say a little bit about it. This is my chest. It's healing really well. At least I would think so. The ripples are getting way better because they were pretty big before. The nipples are okay. They're still kind of gnarly, you know, but I'd say they're doing pretty well. They actually are projected out a bit. So this is the side. They actually don't go back as far as I thought. It's pretty flat. It's not really raised up all that much. And I'll just show you guys the side. This is from the tape that was on there, and it left like a mark. But also it's kind of puffy on this side. Obviously I'm not lifting or exercising. I've been walking a little bit, but that's just because I like to walk around town. My energy level's good. I feel good. There's no pain. It's been really itchy. In terms of feeling, I can feel everything up until here. So I can't feel this area very well. Under here, I can basically feel all the area under the scar. On the sides, I have almost complete feeling. The nipples, I have like tactile feeling. So that's the amount of feeling I have. These are my results. So let's get to the questions. All right, the first question that I got and also got repeatedly over and over again is the cost. So my parents, I'm so thankful for them. They paid out of pocket. And I don't know how much, they say they're probably not going to get very much on the insurance return. So it cost $6,500 for the surgery. So that's for the double incision mastectomy, and then $1,300 for like the hospital services. So total, it was $7,800. So that was the cost of my surgery. A lot of people asked, you know, what insurance covers FTM surgeries, what insurances cover my surgery, and to be honest, I don't know. So I'd have to look that up and get back to you guys, or you guys can do your own research. And I don't mean that in like a bitter way. I just don't know. I don't know. And so I'm sorry I can't be more helpful on that. All right, another question I got was, how long did it take to get the appointment? This is a little bit of a complicated question because I originally called Garamoni's office in, I think, the first week in November last year, in 2014, and they had an appointment the week after that, like 2 weeks after that. So they had an appointment, I think I called like November, like 10th or something, or November, early, the first week in November. And then they had an appointment November 18th. So I originally called the hospital for that. Obviously I didn't get that date because I couldn't get my therapist to sign the letter. So then I had it rescheduled for January 29th with no cost because I had called and asked if I could do that. January 29th, again, obviously I didn't get that date. And that was because, again, I couldn't get my therapist to sign the letter. So finally, when I got my therapist to sign the letter in March, I called again. I think I called like, I called 2 weeks before my surgery date. So I called February 25th or something. And I was like, hi, I want to, you know, schedule my surgery. I've already had my consult. You guys already have all my information. When can I schedule surgery for? And they said March 3rd. And I was like, that's next week. That's a little too soon. So I scheduled it for 2 weeks out, which was March 10th. So not long is the answer to your question. It doesn't take long to get a surgery with Garamoni as long as your schedule is available. So it really depends on your schedule and you know how it coincides with his. But there are always dates, it seems, that he can fill. Somebody else asked how to get my therapist letter. As I mentioned that, it was hard to get my therapist letter, but you need to find a supportive therapist, probably a gender therapist, because otherwise other ones aren't going to necessarily understand as well. So I found a gender therapist. I went through a couple of them until I found one who's willing to sign my letter. Another person said, who was your surgeon? I got surgery on March 10th with Dr. Garamoni in Davie, Florida. And was it scary? It was scary. It's surgery, but I've been through a couple surgeries before, so I wasn't super nervous because I've been put under anesthesia, you know, I've gone through the whole IV thing, I'm not scared of needles, etc. So I wasn't scared. I think I was nervous because I wasn't sure how it was gonna look, and I was nervous it was gonna be like hacked up or something. And I also was nervous because I had a really big chest before, as I've said before in like my posts or whatever. And so I wasn't sure if he was gonna be able to flatten it. I wasn't sure if it was gonna like look like a normal chest. And so I was scared about that. I think I was also scared about the idea of having to be cut up to become whole. You know, the contradiction there. A lot of people have asked me about pain. Did it hurt a lot? Did you have pain meds? Can you move, etc. On the first day, there was like a burning sensation. It didn't hurt all that much. It just kind of felt like, you know, when you have a scratch and you put a Band-Aid on or whatever, and it kind of hurts afterwards still, but it's not bad. It just kind of, you know, it's there. It kind of felt like that, but it didn't, like that didn't go away. It just felt like that for that whole day. And then I think after that, the only pain really that I felt was in my back from sleeping. And so that leads into another question that is, people have been asking, like, how did you sleep? Did they give you sleep medication? Was it sore to sleep on your back, etc.? Yes, it really hurt my back to sleep in the same position because, one, you have an ACE bandage around your chest and it's tighter than a binder basically. And so that was really painful on my back. Obviously there's nothing there that it's binding, so you're not necessarily hunching forward because there's something there, but you are hunching forward because it like feels uncomfortable, like, and when you feel like if you take a deep breath or something, it's gonna pull something. It feels tight. So the main sensation was the tightness in my chest. So I slept on my back, and that definitely hurt my back. In the morning I would wake up like, oh my God, this is painful. But you know, it wasn't that bad. In terms of movement, at first, yeah, it hurt to move. Not because I like had a lot of pain, but because everything that you know, when I walked around would move my skin, which would, you know, if you move the skin here, it moves the scars, etc. So I didn't walk around a whole lot the first week. The second week either. Like I wasn't walking fast. I wasn't walking distances. I was walking like to the bathroom or around the house because I needed to get something. They didn't give me sleep medication. Somebody asked that because I mean, you can buy melatonin, you can buy sleep medication at CVS, but they didn't give me like trazodone or something to help me sleep because I mean, you're pretty dubbed up the first couple days. You have pain meds and those make you sleepy and you know, loopy anyways. The surgery was in Davie, Florida, so I was living up on the northeast coast, so yes, I went far from surgery, about 1,000 miles, I think. And when I traveled afterwards, I traveled all the way back to Utah, from Florida to Utah, and so that definitely was a long day. I would definitely recommend somebody coming with you. I traveled alone. But I would recommend somebody coming with you to carry your bag or just like be able to be there for you, push you in a wheelchair or something, because walking through the whole airport was not fun. You can also get a flight attendant or like a person at the airport to push you. You know, they have the people, you can like request them. So if you're traveling alone, I definitely recommend doing that because I didn't, and the walking was definitely tiring and I kind of was like scared I was gonna like burst something in my chest. It's definitely doable. It's not that big of a deal. In general, the healing process has been not that bad. I mean, there's definitely a new ritual. Instead of getting up every morning to put on a binder, you get up every morning, take a shower, rinse very methodically. You have to have the shower hit your back. You can't have it hit the front because it can damage the nipple grafts. And for 3 weeks, so stopping yesterday, 3 weeks after, or 4 weeks after surgery, really, you have to be putting nipple dressings on, like some bacitracin, Neosporin, whatever, and then a Band-Aid, or the Zero Form, which is like this, like, medical stuff you put on it, antibacterial, whatever. So yeah, and then you have to put Scargon on this, and I mean, also you can't exercise, and I'm kind of going crazy. I mean, not going crazy, but I definitely miss being able to swim because that's my sport, or just lift. So I have 2 more weeks until I can do all of that. So another really important question that somebody asked is, was I out before surgery? How many people had I told? And was my family supportive? Did I care what people thought, etc.? Because surgery is a pretty big thing. So that's a really good question. I'm glad this person asked that. I personally was out to all the important people in my life, I'd say. I think I probably missed a couple. But I was out to my best friend, my parents, my brother, and then most of my close friends who I talk to regularly, who I don't talk to regularly. And actually the time I arrived or the week before surgery and the time I actually arrived in Florida 2 days before the surgery, I was calling people all the time. I was like telling people, hey, I'm getting the surgery because I told you I was trans, I'm getting surgery, or I was like, hi, I haven't talked to you in like forever, I'm trans, I'm getting surgery. Yeah, so I mean, it was definitely sudden for some people, and I definitely apologize to any of you guys, if you're watching this, who know me, who I just told the day of. It has no, correlation to how important you are to me. I just was overwhelmed with telling people. So I told as many people as I could beforehand, as many people as I was ready to tell. And basically I told people who I knew weren't going to have a problem with it. I told some people who I didn't know and who I got really positive results from. But mostly I told people who I knew who were going to support me. I still haven't come out to some people, and I need to come out to them, and it's not because they're not important to me, it's just because I haven't gotten around to it. I haven't talked to them in a year, etc. And I definitely feel bad about having to tell them after having already gotten surgery, because I think that's an important milestone that I should have included them with, but sometimes life just doesn't work out that way. My parents were incredibly supportive. My dad was there taking care of me the whole time, and when I went back home to Utah, my mom was taking care of me the whole time. So yes, my parents were incredibly supportive, and I couldn't be more thankful for them. And then the last question was something like, were you scared of what people would think? Yes, there's always fear. I think people who say that there's no fear, I think it's a little bit of a lie, honestly. I think that you're always gonna have fear of rejection because you're human. So yeah, I had tons of fear of rejection, but at the same time, I was like, you know what? I'm scared of this, but I'm more scared of living a lie. And so I just continued my path, and I kind of let people fall behind me if they wanted to or not. And really, most people fell behind me. I have like nobody who was negative, outright negative to me, or mean, or said they didn't support me. Those that didn't understand, didn't necessarily they weren't like, yeah, surgery. But they were like, you know what? I'm happy you're doing what you think is right for you, even though I don't think it's right. And I can work with that. Also, in terms of the surgery, somebody asked if I was under complete sleep or just my chest. I was under general anesthesia, and that's what they do for all of the surgeries. They don't keep you awake. You're not conscious. You're completely asleep. They put a mask on you and you're completely out, and you wake up afterwards. I think you wake up. I woke up at 3, and my surgery was at 10:30. So I was sleeping for a long time, but the surgery itself is only an hour and a half. So it just took me a while to wake up from the anesthesia. Another couple of logistical things. Did my shirt size change? Not really. I wear small or medium or large depending on what I feel, depending on my outfit. So no, it didn't really change. It also doesn't hurt to put shirts on. So another really important question. Somebody asked, will the scars be there forever? Yes, the scars will be there forever. I'll always have some sort of lines there. Whether or not they'll be red forever is up to me. I'm not supposed to go in the sun because that can cause keloid scarring, which is nasty. Look up pictures, I'm not going to tell you about it. Or just keep them redder. So I don't have signs of keloid scarring at this point. They're kind of purplish. It's also because I'm cold. But the more I stretch my arms in this two-week period of time, and I actually stretch the scars, the more they'll be stretched out, so the wider they'll be. Right now they're pretty thin, but scar tissue has to form, they have to go together, and the more scar tissue that forms, the more visible they'll be. But then after time, they'll fade, and I'll be putting ScarGuard on, so I'm not really too worried about it. Somebody else asked, are you scared of living with the scars forever? And no, I'm not, and I can say that completely and wholly. I'm not scared. I want to be proud of my scars. This is something that shows what I've been through. It shows to me that I've overcome things. And also, I don't really want to be a completely stealth person, like a stealth trans guy, because that erases my past. And I watched this video, and I can try to link it in, some guy who went off T because of his own personal reasons, but he said something about having a rich past, and testosterone sort of erased that past because he was no longer a guy who had been a girl. He was just a guy. And I think that's really important. I have a rich past, and I don't want to erase my past either. I don't want to, I'm not embarrassed that I was a girl. I'm not embarrassed of who I was. I'm embarrassed of certain things I've done, for sure. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm human. So yeah, I'm not afraid to live with scars. Sure, I'm scared of little things like, you know, going into the men's locker room, taking off my shirt, and somebody being like, "What the fuck's wrong with your chest, dude?" But ultimately, I'm not afraid of living with them. Okay, the last two questions are really important to me. One of them is, how has your life changed? How are you happier? How have your emotions changed, etc.? Honestly, I think my anger has gotten better. The biggest things that pissed me off was the feeling of my breasts against my body. And I get so angry at my chest. And it didn't have anything to do with the situation, typically, but it just was something that was there, and I could, you know, physically get angry at one thing, and oftentimes it was the fact that I could feel my breasts, like, because my breasts used to go down to like here, and they would press on this amount of skin on my chest, and I just would get so angry at the sensation. I'd like rip off my sports bra, rip off my binder, pull at my body. So there isn't that factor anymore. I don't, when I get angry, sure, I still, you know, I'm working on all of my anger issues, but I still pile on all the things that the person did wrong, or I did wrong, or whatever, but I don't have that extra reason, you know, my breast, to get even more angry and physically upset with myself. That's not to say that, you know, that I'm like all better and that it cured anything, because it didn't, but it definitely takes away that physical manifestation of anger in my chest. On top of that, I mean, I'm loving my reflection in the mirror, at least of this part of my body, and it's so cool to just kind of stand there and be like, I feel so good right now. So yeah, that feels great. I think being able to just put on a shirt in the morning and not have to put on a bra or a binder, which is like a constant reminder of my chest, that's really great. It takes away a step of anger in my day again. So yeah, my life has changed a bit. I do want to say, as a disclaimer though, I have confounding mental health problems, and this wasn't something to solve that. Getting top surgery isn't something that's going to solve anything. The work you do and the work surrounding your transition, in terms of like mental stuff, I think is what's going to change stuff. So for me, top surgery wasn't a cure for anything, and I just want to put that disclaimer out there. I have a lot of other work to do. I still have a lot of things I need to work on in my own recovery from a lot of things. So top surgery was not a cure, it was just a step in the right direction. The last question I think is really important. Somebody asked, and bless this person, I think their name is Frosty McNugget on Instagram. I'll link it in, but they asked, what can you do to be really supportive of your friend who's going through top surgery? What things can help? And I mean, I really think this is a great question, because a lot of people don't know how to help their friends. So my dad was really a great caretaker for me, and he got me ginger ale and sourdough bread, which are the two things my doctor recommended to get to help with the nausea. He helped me take my meds on time, because I had to take medications like 4 to 6 times a day, and I was not coherent enough to remember that. So helping your friend or your kid or your person who's going through top surgery, helping your trans person, help them take their meds, help them get up. You might have to help them reach the toilet paper in the bathroom because it's too far for you to reach. Because when right after surgery, I had my arms like this, so I couldn't do anything really. The length of my forearm was as much as I could reach. So just kind of being there to get stuff for them. And I mean, it sounds a little bit much, but like being there on their beck and call, like if they need something, be there. And that's not to say you need to give up your life for them, but it's the first week is really crucial to be there and help them just, reach something, or tell them to take their medication, or sit with them if they can't sleep, or etc. So if you're there if you have the time for a week, do those things for them. And just be supportive. If they're having problems with unsupportive friends, tell them you love them, tell them it's going to be okay. You know, because I know through this a lot of emotions can come up, and also don't expect them to be suddenly, you know, ecstatic right after surgery, because they're not going to be necessarily. I know for me, and I know for a lot of other people that I've talked to, right after surgery, it isn't ecstatic like relief necessarily. It can be painful, not only physically but mentally, because this is a part of your body, regardless of whether or not you wanted it to be there, that is part of you. And it's kind of scary to be cut open and have it, you know, taken out. And so there's going to be negative emotions, and I think a lot of people don't expect that, the negative emotion side. And I know I cried sometimes because I was just like, oh my God, so much is going on, and this is really big. And it's less so now, but sometimes I'll look at my chest and I'll be like, damn it, like I really don't like the fact that I had to be cut up to become whole. So don't push onto them an expectation of everything going to be happy and good and relieved, even with regards to the chest surgery itself. There's going to be mixed emotions, and all emotions are valid. Okay, so that is, you know, the extent of the questions. I'm sorry if this took really long. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you have more questions, comment them below or shoot me a message on Instagram or Kik or whatever. I am here to answer questions. The other thing is I have a FAQ page, and I call it a FAQ page. Apparently it's called a frequently asked questions page, but I call it a FAQ page. So go check out my FAQ page if you have more questions that weren't answered, because I wrote out a lot of details and logistics and how to get your surgery in order and binders information, etc. So go check that out if you have more questions, and if they're not answered there, hit me up. All right, thanks guys.